So today, what I want to talk about is self-concept and relationship work, because I've coached and counseled people in some form on relationships for almost, or actually over 15 years at this point, and how it relates to stress management and how our self-concept, by changing our self-concept to some degree, changes how people relate to us. I've integrated a lot more law of attraction, law of assumption concepts into this framework over the last several years. At this point, I've coached over probably 100 people on self-concept work related to manifesting romantic partners, so-called special people or specific people, SPs. And what I want to talk about today is why that kind of manifestation framework for manifesting a romantic partner, or just manifesting better relationships in general, actually can fail us some of the time when it doesn't need to, and why I personally think it's often better to not be using manifestation language, to be more effective actually at bettering your romantic relationships, manifesting better relationships, including romantic relationships, and actually utilizing these law of assumption and law of attraction principles more effectively by stripping away the metaphysical language, let alone the tropes that we often hear in the SP community. So that's what we're going to talk about some today. And then after that, we'll have open time where I'll answer any questions that people have about this subject or any other subjects they have in regards to spirituality, stress management, relationships, self-concept, etc. So that's the plan. And for those of you who don't know, I have just started a second YouTube channel. Hold on one second. I don't know if I can pull that up here. You know what? I don't think I can pull it up. This is just going to be, I have a new YouTube channel. Let me see if I can find it here. Hold on one second. Up there it is. Relationship Coaching with Tim Grimes. Look at this. This is my new YouTube channel. I've got 2 videos so far, 64 subscribers. Shout out to the 64 subscribers. At Tim Grimes Coaching. This is going to be my new channel where I discuss relationship advice and coaching with people. Like I said, we have over 100, or I don't know if I have said this, but I have over 100 videos on my main channel here on manifesting better relationships. But this new channel is going to be a more sober, counseling oriented channel to really dive in deep about it. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to break it down some for you. Before we do that, as always, when we do these free group calls, let's have just a short, slow meditation to kind of ground ourselves into what we're about to discuss. So if you've never done this with me before, this meditation, you can be walking, you can be sitting down, you can be standing, you can be lying down, you can have your eyes open, you can have your eyes closed. What we're going to do is just kind of ground ourselves naturally by accepting where we are physically, where we are mentally, where we are emotionally, and not judging ourselves for a few moments. So what that can look like is just kind of settle your body, maybe feel your body kind of easing. Your body doesn't have to feel great, right? It might still feel, I don't know, stressed out or in pain or a little bit uncomfortable, but just ease your body as best you can. And you'll probably feel a little bit of a lightening just by having that intention to kind of ease back, right? Maybe if you're in a comfortable position, you feel really relaxed when you start to ease back by this. But whether you feel, physically really relaxed or just a little bit more relaxed, just let that body of yours kind of be there. Again, eyes can be closed, eyes can be open. Both are good. Let your body just kind of be. And just notice that beingness of it. We're not judging it. We're not saying, oh, I feel bad, I feel great, da, da, da. No, we're just here with it, which is really nice, just to be with it in this way. Just be with the body like this. Easing into the body, easing into the body. If there's any tension you feel like in your shoulders or a certain part of your body, you can kind of ease into that tension even. My hypnotherapist used to love to say, let that tension melt away. I like that. Let the tension melt away. That's great. But also the tension might not melt away. That's okay too. Regardless, we're easing into it. easing into the body. And now that we've eased into the body, we might notice our thoughts more consciously, kind of like what we're thinking. We might be having quote unquote good thoughts. We might be having quote unquote bad thoughts. We might be having random thoughts, happy thoughts, sad thoughts, funny thoughts. All that's good. We can also ease into our thinking too, ease into our thinking. So now we're easing into our body, we're easing into our thinking. In short, no pressure, just relaxing into what is happening right now, just allowing ourselves to be here. So let the thoughts come and go. Let the body do what it does. And for the next hour or so, I invite you to just allow this kind of permission slip to be okay for you, to not judge yourself harshly, judge your body harshly, judge your thoughts harshly. Just take in what I'm sharing and just be here and, take it in, relax and take it in. And then there will be a replay if you want to watch the replay. Because we're going to share a lot of information, but the information, you do not have to like intellectually grasp anything brilliant here. Just be. These group sessions, and really a lot of my counseling and coaching in general is just about allowing yourself to be, space to be, right? When we give ourselves more space to be, we often realize things that we might not have thought we were going to realize initially, right? I often give the metaphor. It's like we're looking out the front door for something. We're waiting for this thing to arrive or this person to arrive. We're waiting. We're worried it's not coming. And then all of a sudden something taps us on our shoulder and someone came in the back door. And what we've been waiting for is right behind us, right next to us the whole time, or is now there. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, so allow yourself to be. And let me talk to you for a few minutes about this new YouTube channel, why I'm doing it, and why, even if you're not looking to improve your romantic relationships, why improving your concept of yourself is going to improve your relationships to family members or close friends or people you work with, people you interact with regularly. Why improving your self-concept will naturally improve those relationships, right? So this seminar is, not just if you're looking to manifest a special romantic person or get a person back into your life romantically. It's for anybody who's looking to change some of the relationships they have with family, friends, etc., in a natural way that is win-win for all involved. So I'm gonna pull up the share screen and pull up this Google Doc and go over this with you some. Again, this is the new relationship coaching channel, which is all about this: improve your self-concepts, improve your relationships. And let's talk a little bit about this new YouTube channel, why it exists, and why it can radically change your relationships over time. What makes this new channel different, including different than the stuff that I've done before talking about relationships, because as I said, I've spoken about relationships a lot on YouTube. This new channel is really built upon one structural truth, and that is when your self-concept of yourself improves, when you feel better and more compassionate and loving towards yourself, your relationships with others improve. That's what this new channel is about, and this is what so much relationship work can be about if you want to use this kind of approach. And I love this kind of approach. I love it. This approach is not motivational. It's not metaphysical. It's not manifestation language. Okay, so in other words, this is not like if you are into SP, specific person manifestation advice. This is not that. This is structural psychology. There's no SP ideology. There's no emotional state chasing, no metaphysical promises, no performance, just nervous system regulation, emotional maturity, self-respect, boundaries, the golden rule embodied: do unto others what you want done to yourself, and your self-concept expressed behaviorally. There's nothing really woo-woo about this, guys. The reason that I created this new channel is because I realized I've spoken to so many clients over the last couple of years who want to implement manifestation advice to improve their relationships. And I've just realized more and more that almost all of that language is not necessary usually to get the best results. It can be helpful. Don't get me wrong, it can be helpful, but it's not the key thing. Grounded relationship work is much more about self-respect, boundaries, and following the golden rule. And over time, if you start embodying this, it's life-changing. It's a bigger shift than it might sound at first. Most people are trying to improve their relationships or get back with a partner by trying to learn how to communicate better, learn new tactics, new ways to attract people, analyzing the other person, maybe analyzing their attachment behavior, trying to quote unquote stay in the right state. And what we're talking about is very different. Instead of adjusting behavior on top of these things, you change the structure underneath, which is you change your self-concept. You change how you regard yourself. When your internal stability increases, you stop tolerating what doesn't fit. You don't let people railroad you or gaslight you anymore. You stop chasing validation. You stop overfunctioning, overcompensating for other people when they don't treat you kindly. You stop collapsing under pressure. You don't force better relationships. You become someone who naturally has them. When you start to love yourself more and be more kind to yourself and less self-judgmental, you in turn do not tolerate other people not treating you that way. Because our whole thing is, I'm going to treat myself nicely and I'm going to treat you nicely. And if you don't treat me nicely, you don't get to have the same relationship you used to have with me. That's not being cruel, that's being honest and more loving towards yourself and really more loving towards the other person. The golden rule means you are treating yourself and others the way you want to be treated. This makes you naturally attractive. People are naturally attracted to who you are. Now, maybe not the person you want to romance back into your life, maybe not that person. But generally speaking, more people will be drawn to you, both as, in terms of socially, professionally, and in terms of relationships. Because there is, generally speaking, a lack of people practicing the golden rule with regularity in all their relationships and in all their interactions. When you are treating others the way you yourself want to be treated and you are being a good person to yourself and to others, people pick up on that. It's very attractive. This is what I love talking to people about. Again, this is not so woo-woo, guys. This is psychology. This is how relationships work. And I've been talking to people about this stuff well before I knew anything about the law of attraction. This is how this stuff works. If you come from a place of self-compassion, integrity, and empathy and kindness for other people, wow. People are going to like you. This process of, working on your self-concept is not an overnight thing, but sustainably over time, it affects all your relationships in your life. Again, what makes this approach different is it's not dramatic. There's no woo-woo, there's nothing dramatic. Oh, I realized I had this epiphany. Great. As they say in Zen, after the epiphany, after the ecstasy, the laundry. It's not dramatic. What we're talking about is not complicated. It's very simple. We like to kiss here. Keep it simple, stupid. This is very simple principles. It doesn't require mastering techniques. So different than these law of attraction, law of assumption teachings about basically manipulating a partner back to you through affirmations or visualization. That stuff can work short term, by the way, but it's not ethical. It's not practicing the golden rule, and it's not going to work sustainably usually. Because if you quote unquote manifest somebody back, the problem is then what happens when they do come back to you? You've got the same issues energetically unless you've worked on yourself. So we don't do that. When you work on your self-concept, you're not asked to perform. You won't be blamed. You're going to stop gaslighting yourself. And you won't be told by a coach or somebody that you failed to manifest correctly or you did it wrong. You weren't aligned. You weren't high frequency. You weren't in state. You didn't affirm enough. Ugh, all that stuff is just awful relationship advice. Only always. All these quote manifestation coaches, as if such a thing really exists, telling you, how to manifest an SP through a technique or how to manifest somebody back. It's just, that stuff is unethical and most of it's garbage. Some of it's okay, but oof, man, what a terrible vibe compared to I love myself and I love you. You can disagree with me, but if you disagree with me, go watch another channel, not this. This is steady adult development. This is being mature. Videos on this new channel are basically short grounded sessions. They're like short counseling or coaching sessions. They're somatic, a lot of them, where we're talking about how we feel in the body, how we're working with fear or shame or guilt or stuff that comes up. It should be very clear in that way. We're talking about shifting things, small but significant shifts that happen over and over and over again as you learn to love yourself more and more. Not in a dramatic way, but just in a, I realize I'm okay. I realize there's nothing wrong with me. I realize there's nothing wrong with me wanting to be loved. I realize there's nothing wrong with me for wanting to give love. I realize there's nothing wrong with me for saying, I don't want to be with you if you're treating me like shit. I realize there's nothing wrong with me if I express that I'm scared or frustrated. As I said, over time, these small shifts, realizing the stuff about ourselves, compounds. And when your self-concept improves, every relationship changes. Romantic relationships, family relationships, work relationships, friendships. This is not tactical or theoretical. It's reorganization of your life from within to without. So ironically, it's like real manifestation advice, just without all the woo-woo language and all the sensationalist ideas that don't actually work long-term. The energy online for most relationship advice, at least that I've seen, is reactive, strategic, and outcome driven. What we're talking about here is different. Again, like sitting in a counseling room, it's calm, direct, grounded, warm. It's not special. It just is here with you, just supportive of you. That's what self-concept work should be like. It's like you have space just to be yourself, like we were doing at the beginning of this call during the meditation. It's gentle, serious work for people who are ready to change. If somebody stays with it over time, their relational life doesn't improve because they tried harder. It improves because they became steadier. That's the whole point. And if you'd like to explore getting coached by me one-on-one in regards to self-concept work, you can reach out for a short consultation. So that is a short summary of my new YouTube channel and what I've spoken about for years about improving your self-concept. It's just now we're taking away all of the manifestation language pretty much. Before I was using it because I thought it could be helpful and I knew people were drawn to that language, but now I realize we just don't even need to be using it most of the time. So if you have any questions about this, you can let me know. Just going to open up the chat to see if there's any questions there. Again, you can write questions into the chat, or you can hop on video or audio with Papa Bear Tim. I cringe myself over my SP ideology phase. Yeah, well, the important thing about the SP ideology phase is that you got over it, because too many people online are still stuck on it. They're still stuck on manifesting their SP or their twin flame or all that nonsense. As I always say, the SP, the special person, the specific person, is you. The twin flame is you. And you're never going to convince me otherwise. Can't go wrong while following the golden rule. I've always believed this even as a child. Yeah, exactly. It's like the golden rule is this rule passed down through the ages for a reason. It's just common sense in a way. And again, kids understand it. If you treat others the way you yourself want to be treated, if you're a kind, good person, that tends to come back to you. And it just feels better. So yeah, the golden rule is so important. And it gets lost amazingly. It gets lost in these manifestation conversations these days. If we're being really like kind of ego heavy, egotistical, and very much like, I'm going to manifest this, I'm going to get this. I don't know. When I see so many manifestation YouTube channels like that, and it's like, you just lose track of the golden rule so quickly if you're speaking like that often. I don't get it. I heard one manifestation coach say they have no choice but to show up in your 3D. Yeah, it's the kind of stuff manifestation coaches say. They're saying nonsense. Yeah. So this stuff it's just disarming how straightforward a lot of this stuff can be. When we look at it from just this more grounded, mature viewpoint. Relationship advice is so helpful if we just make sure that we listen to it and contemplate it and start to integrate it maturely. That's it. I've met 17-year-olds, or I've worked with 17-year-olds who are much more mature emotionally about their romantic relationships than some 57 or 67-year-olds I've worked with. It's not about your age. It's about what you're willing to do and how seriously you're willing to look at yourself. The good news is when you're looking at yourself seriously, you realize, and this is what we always talk about, I'm okay, is what you realize. And furthermore, you know what? I'm not a bad person. I'm a good person. I'm decent. I do not deserve to be in a relationship romantically with someone who doesn't respect me. I deserve to interact well with others and expect the same in return. And if I don't get that, well, I can voice my displeasure, or I can leave, or my actions towards this person can change. They don't necessarily have to go out of my life, but it means if they are in my life, I can interact with them differently. Uncommon common sense. Uncommon common sense. So yeah, I'm really excited to explore these themes from this very grounded perspective, I guess one would say, on the new YouTube channel. Just going to read this comment here. Manifestation teachings are a gift and a curse. This is so true. So true. These ideas are so wonderful. So wonderful, so fascinating, and so interesting to look at and try to apply and to integrate into our life. But they can be misinterpreted and make us feel bad, make other people feel bad, make us feel like we're not good enough or we're doing something wrong, make us too prone to magical thinking where we don't take appropriate enough actions. All this stuff can happen so easily if we're not careful. And that's what's difficult, is realizing that even if I love something, it doesn't mean that it can't hurt me. And relationships are the same way. So yeah, manifestation teachings are great. But as I always say, we have to take the bad with the good. We have to realize even the best manifestation teacher or teachings might not be relevant for us. It might actually go against even our values some of the time. So it's worth remembering that. I like that comment where Yeah, most of them say that in terms of, I heard one manifestation coach, they have no choice but to show up in your 3D. Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna, I've made enough videos. If you go to my SP video page, or it's called Relationship Advice for Spiritual People. I'll put the link in the description for both my new channel and the playlist for my old channel with all those videos. I have enough videos of me breaking down why quote unquote manifestation coaches giving relationship advice is most of the time basically unethical. All I'll say here is, it's, unless you guys really want to talk about it more, is it is ridiculous when you take a step back, the way these coaches are talking about treating other people and how anyone could think that's like the golden rule. It's just crazy. I don't know what other word to use. It's crazy. Like, it's not nice. It's not ethical. It's not nice. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So any other questions or anything like that? This might be a short call. Hey, Sheena.
Hey, can
Hi.
I talk? Okay,
You
I
absolutely
wasn't.
can talk. You're on the screen, my screen too, which you can handle it. Sheena's a
Oh,
wonderful
cool.
you. Sheena, what's your YouTube handle?
It's Creator Mom. You know what? I don't even know the handle. It's Creator
We're gonna
Mom.
put Sheena's YouTube handle on the description as well. Sheena's got a good YouTube channel. She's what
Yeah,
Sheena, you're one of the people that one of the few people that's just as prolific, if not more so, than me. Sheena's made a lot
no
of
way.
video. Yes, you make a lot of videos. You make a lot of
Yeah,
videos.
I spent 3 years single after I left my ex, and I just got into a relationship a couple months ago. And boy, I mean, so much stuff is coming up that I never ever processed in my life, like, anxious attachment stuff, lots of anxiety, fears of abandonment. Like, it's been hard. I'm not hard. It's been challenging, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you would think that, you find somebody you really like and everything's going well. But of course, there's nuances there, like co-parenting situations and ex relationships and things like that, so that help really bring those anxieties and fears to the surface too. But I feel like all in all, I've been pretty proud of myself for processing and you know just the challenge of feeling those feelings. And a
Yes.
chat gpt has also been extremely helpful as
Good.
well. I mean, the insight that you can really get from ChatGPT when you talk to it about what the fears are really helps bring a lot of clarity and logic
Yes.
to it. And it's like, oh wow, I never saw it that way. That's so true. Um, but yeah, like, so yeah, it's been very enlightening, very scary. And I can't wait. I don't want to say can't wait to get over these fears, but like really, I can't wait till those anxious parts kind of become a bit quieter,
Yeah.
and not so, but I think it's getting better. But yeah, I didn't realize how much anxiety and anxious attachment I had. And you were talking about treating ourselves well and loving ourselves. And I was realizing that when you are a person who has anxious attachment, I think the challenge is you putting yourself to the side.
Yes.
You don't want to lose that person. So that person kind of that becomes like the main goal. So that is one thing to look out for. But and it made me realize also why some people can have unhealthy relationships if you're anxious, how controlling could feel good to an anxious person, because it almost feels like, oh yeah, you're not leaving, like, but it's
Yeah.
like not healthy. So
That's the energetic
yeah,
push and pull there. That's a great
yeah.
example of that. Yeah. Yeah.
But I really want to become, I mean, and I'm trying to use like these common sense things, and also with manifestation, such as like, okay, I want to be a person who is securely attached. You know what I mean? That's who I am. That's who I want to become, like, in using manifestation language, right? But I'm also still acknowledging all these fears and anxieties that are coming up, and they're so scary. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like the both things, juggling that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're aware of the manifestation stuff for long enough that you're not going to be bypassing the feeling part, right? So that like the manifestation stuff is very helpful and keeps us positive in a good way if we're looking at the feelings honestly, which you're doing. And I'm glad you're using GPT too. I found the same thing for kind of unpacking feelings. If you're honest with it, if you work GPT or whatever AI you're using, it will help you do the work. You know, if you are hiding stuff from it or not are not open with it, it will give you cliche answers. But if you really get to know it, if you kind of reveal yourself, I think it can be very helpful. I think probably both of us have experienced that before in terms of
Yeah,
working with feelings. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, did you tell, was it you a couple of years ago? You said, I'm trying to manifest a divorce or something like that. Did you ever say that? Or like, so, or not a divorce, or like some, there was some, like, there's something I feel like you once said on a call, like a group call that was, it
Um,
was some like energetic thing, like, or like, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't you. You said something along those lines at once, like,
somebody else getting divorced.
or just like better relations with your ex or something. Like you're like, what, like people talk about like manifesting, like, you know, someone back in or like a new relate, but it's like it's like I also have to like I have kids, I have to deal with like the energetics of that. And like you're talking about like, you know, now like new relationship energetics of co-parenting. Like this is mature stuff. And this is when everything, you know, we just did the whiteboard presentation or the Google Doc presentation. That's when this stuff becomes so key because it's like you have commitments, you have kids, you have responsibilities, you know, it's like, how do I navigate all this? That's when being honest with your feelings and realizing I'm enough, I am okay, even if I have these big feelings, these feelings of, you know, of abandonment or fear or shame or whatever, I'm okay still. And like, I'm still going to treat myself okay and treat my partner and my kids and my partner's kids or what have like as best as I can, right? The way I want to be treated. Right. So that's, yeah, you're just, anyway, you get
I
what I'm
was going to
saying.
say, yeah, that's actually been the most gratifying thing about this journey so far. It's just the fact that I'm doing really good at not acting on those
Yes.
fears, the anxiety, right? Like, or being obsessive or something like that. Like, yes, I'm feeling these things, but I feel like I'm articulating very well and I'm not like in this weird chasing or desperate energy. Like, I'm holding myself, even though I'm feeling these things, I'm not behaving according to them. So it's just because it's that whole like I am the observer of those, I am not it. It's kind of like the parts work, right? Like I'm not that part. It is a part that I'm observing. And I think that there's a scary level to it too, which could be like a superstitious part of manifesting where it's like you're afraid of the fear. So the
Yes.
fear of abandonment comes up and you're like, "Oh shit. Oh, now I'm going to manifest abandonment because I have this fear of abandonment that's coming up." So then
Yes.
kind of like a second arrow that makes you really spin out and become afraid even more.
Great point. That's
Yeah.
we see this a lot. That's the narrative on top of the feeling, and the narrative sneaks onto there so quickly. And if we're into this manifestation stuff, we gaslight ourselves so quickly. It's like, oh, I'm scared. Oh, I'm going to manifest more fear in my life. You know, I'm going to manifest more bad. No, screw all that. No, let the feeling be there. And it's like, feelings are very intense. That's why people don't want to work with them. Right. But like, if you are like, I'm going to work with this and embrace it, or at least acknowledge it, then it's not going to manifest in the way you would fear because you're looking at it the way that people are afraid to look at it. Because they're afraid to look at it, they create a narrative on top of it, and then they think, well, what if this happens, what if this happens, and you know, that's what's in the back of their mind. And then if you keep on thinking, what if this happens, what if this happens, then maybe you start acting in a way that would lend itself for that thing to happen more easily, but not when you nip it in the bud early. And it's so easy for those scary stories to go on top of the feeling, but it's like, notice that, and then notice that the scary story is not ultimately the feeling, and then even the feeling is not the feel. I mean, the feeling shifts too, right? Like get murky, like Eugene Gendlin says, go to the murky edge. And it's like, it's not, there's no narrative there. Not only is there no narrative there, I don't even know what the feel, I can't even describe the feeling. I don't, it's more just like this, whatever, like a heaviness or a tightness. And okay, what's going on here? And maybe no answer comes right away, but you can sit with it, and then an answer will come. I mean, eventually, maybe not that day, but something will come, right?
Yeah.
that's stripping away the narrative. And then the more you do that, the more comfortable I think you get when that stuff does just pop up, because you realize that's a story that's not real, you know?
Right.
So
And it really isn't real. And it's funny you said about feeling in the body, just real quick. I noticed where I had felt it was in my throat a lot in my throat, and a lot in the specific part of my chest, which I haven't felt it there for a while, but my throat, and then kind of like this full body fear sensation.
yeah,
But yeah, just all, but it's like when I get that, I like the other day, I just kind of laid down and held my dog and cried and said, I'm
good.
scared. And it helped though, you know what I mean? It's just like, I just have to like surrender to it in a way, like, oh gosh.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. And something else I recommend for people that are like, what the hell are Tim and Sheena talking about right now? I'll put another video link below too. Like something I like to do, you can do it with your phone with AI now, is the Eugene Gendlin absolute listening method, where you basically just talk about how you're feeling to like ChatGPT, for instance, and ChatGPT will basically mirror back what you're saying. And if you do that for long enough, like maybe for 5, 10, 15 minutes, just by expressing how you feel, and you can do this with a therapist or a counselor, by the way, it's probably better if you do, but we don't always have a therapist or counselor on hand. We do always have our phone on hand. So you can do this with your phone. And it really does something. I've just found personally for myself, but also I've have several clients who use it now as just kind of a way to vent what they're feeling and have the phone mirror it back to them. And that will shift the feeling. That will, and it's like, Gendlin says, like, when you identify like the crux of the problem, often like why the feeling feels so bothersome, when you identify it, it's weird because it doesn't necessarily clarify anything in the 3D. It's not like my problem is solved. It's like, oh, I feel inferior. But like recognizing you feel inferior, and that's the reason. It's like that's relief in and of itself, because you've isolated what was bothering you, and then you can go back and work on that later or what have you. But crying with your dog is, I mean, that's great. I mean, that, like, if you have the space to do that, right? Like that's wonderful. It's using any tool, in my opinion, that makes you more comfortable with the feelings as they come up, and realize there's nothing wrong with you as they process, because the body's smart, the body's intelligent, it's trying to tell you something, and we are not going to gaslight ourselves for having these feelings. I mean, we can listen to manifestation coaches and do that, but I don't recommend it. So
Right. Yeah. Thank you. It's
thank,
very intense.
Thank you very much for sharing, Sheena. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and check out her channel too. Sheena's channel. She's a big time.
Yeah, the handle is Creator Mom 123.
Creator Mom 123. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. How do you stop telling yourself the story that isn't serving you? I'm going to try this. I mean, there's 100 different ways. What we're talking about here is by feeling it. But there's like, the idea is you don't stop telling the story, the body stops responding to the story in the same way. Like if I say I'm going to stop telling myself this story, that's imaginative, right? It's like, I'm going to stop telling myself the story. But if I try to will it to happen, it's like, don't think of the pink elephant. And I keep on thinking of the pink elephant. So we have to change our relationship to the story. In my book, The Joy of Not Thinking, I talk about basically using physical movement and like noises and talking differently to yourself to make the story seem irrelevant or absurd. That's another way of doing it. But the feeling way is very effective, because if you relate to how you feel towards your like fear or anxiety or shame differently, the story will change automatically. So like, it's like you don't let go of it as much as the story lets go of you. You realize that story is not me. It's not me. It's a story. And the story's okay. I see it's a story, but it's not me. That does not define who I am. That doesn't define that, that doesn't get to say I'm not a loving, caring person that can follow the golden rule because of that story. It's just a story. If you have questions, you can email me too with follow-ups for that. Jackie says, been with my husband for 34 years. He lets me be me and I let him be me. disagreements or misunderstandings, we always meet in the middle. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of it. I think, Joseph Murphy said, there's no two people have lived under the same roof that have never had an argument or many arguments. It's we deal with our disagreements in different ways, but if you're with a partner that loves you, you learn to give each other the space you need. And sometimes that space, it's not always the space you think. Sometimes it's also by confronting one another. But like, once you confront the other person, how does that person react? How do you react to their reaction? My wife and I are both very hot-blooded. Like, we will yell at each other still. I yelled at my wife yesterday, and then we worked it out. It's fine. It's only happened 1,000 times to me. I don't say it like that is what it is. Because it's when I yell or my wife yells, there's still respect and love in that room. So that's, again, most manifestation teachers are never going to tell you that, or manifestation coaches. Let me just put it that way. But if you're practicing the golden rule, if your heart's in the right place, you are given a lot of leeway. And you're giving your partner a lot of leeway, or you're giving your family member a lot of leeway, or your good friend, if they respect you and if there's, mutual love there. Question: how do you detox your mind and body from emotions and information that's going on social media and society, like conspiracy theories, all men, women are predators, it's dangerous to be rich, etc.? There's a lot. Obviously, there's many different ways to answer that, but the easiest way is to restrict social media. The easiest way is just don't listen or watch. But for most people, that's not realistic. So what I would say is severely limit your exposure to social media unless you like it. If you like scrolling or being on it, by all means do, but a lot of people are just addicted to it and don't actually like it. They just are on it. There's no need to spend much time on conspiracy theories, all men, women are predators, it's dangerous to be rich, etc. There's no need to spend much time on that stuff unless you want to. And you can also challenge it. Again, AI is wonderful. I say now, like, go on AI instead of going on social media. And you can ask AI, like, how could I stop falling for these conspiracy theories? I think there might be something to this Epstein files, but I'm wondering talk to AI about it. It's better than listening to some pundit talk about the Epstein files or about men and women or all this crap. You use more self-direction in regards to that stuff. But when we're just watching stuff on our phone or listening to stuff on our phone, we're at the mercy of who knows. You be selective to the best of your ability and spend less time on it. Question: I'm a little late, but I recently discovered that I've been spiritually bypassing all of my trauma. Well, I'll tell you right now, you're not bypassing all of your trauma if you realize that. So you're not bypassing my trauma. Continue. It blew my mind because I assumed I was ascending. Every time a bad thing happens or I don't get what I want, I immediately intellectualize it or try to reframe it. This has actually been working against me. I decided to just accept that life is shitty sometimes, LOL. I love this comment. Thanks, Stephanie, for sharing this. Yeah, so let me read that again because I broke it up in the middle. I recently discovered that I've been spiritually bypassing all of my trauma. It blew my mind because I assumed I was, quote unquote, ascending. Every time a bad thing happens or I don't get what I want, I immediately intellectualize it or try to reframe it. This has actually been working against me. So I decided to just accept that life is shitty sometimes, LOL. Yeah, that's another way of saying you accepted being who you are, being human, having feelings. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, but like, generally speaking, it's like self-acceptance, learning to love yourself more, improving your self-concept is realizing it's okay to feel shitty sometimes. It's okay to have all these emotions. It's okay that I'm not like this fictional person I've never met on YouTube who seemingly has no problems in the perfect relationship, which is fucking bullshit, by the way. It's okay to be you. And that maybe there are some, ascended saints that have figured out all of the world's problems, or there have been in the past, but show me examples of them. in real life, because there are not many. People are talking about all this stuff where it's like it's a done deal. People talk about manifestation all the time like it's a done deal. Oh, Neville supposedly did it, or Abdullah supposedly did it, so I should be able to do it too in the same way. Are you kidding me? Give me examples of people doing it like that consistently. If there are, why can't anybody talk about it half decently on YouTube just about? So yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I definitely don't think that you've been bypassing all your trauma, but it sounds like you're reaching a point now where you're becoming more and more accepting of just being with your feelings, which is the best. I mean, it's not, I don't say it's the best. Nothing's the best, nothing's the worst, but like the longer I do this stuff, I just feel like, first of all, the less I know, the longer I do this stuff, the less I know about anything. And secondly, the more I just accept myself as I am. And I feel like that's the key for most people. When I'm working with clients, the main thing I'm trying to get across for the majority of my clients is like, you're okay as you are. Unless you're doing something that's like overtly heinous and like you should not be doing, like most people are just doing their best and are being hard as all hell on themselves. And if we can learn to just cut down how hard we are on ourselves and be more gentle with ourselves, our life will change. This goes right back to the self-concept subject that we were talking about. It's the same thing. But that's easy to say, harder to do, because it's like what Sheena was talking about. Like you're sitting with the feelings, you're lying on the floor with the feelings. That's when it becomes a lot less ascendant. But that's the work. That's why we're here. So thanks for joining us. Great comment there. Jackie said, it's so funny. My husband will often say something out loud and I realized I was just thinking the same thing. It happens to him when I say something too. It happens so often. It's like we are one mind. Yes, we yell too, but mutual respect and love is there. Yeah, exactly. You're given a lot of leeway when you live with somebody, if it's a good relationship, because you love the other person, and you think similarly and you get on the same page, but it doesn't mean you don't have disagreements. And often people have yelling matches or what have you. And it's again, we don't have to hold ourselves up to an impossible standard. Usually the people who seem all high and mighty, in my experiences, if you actually get to know them or whatever, it's like, it's not actually like that in real life. Usually the people that have it like together, it's like pretty normal. Like doesn't seem that special. It's like, oh, okay. Which is again why a lot of the manifestation world seems so weird, because it's this very elevated, high and special thing. And that's, I don't know, as I was saying earlier, after the ecstasy, the laundry. Good call.
I was going to say, then there can be ecstasy in doing the laundry.
That's the goal, right? A lot of time it's like, yeah, there's relief in that too, right? I always like that line, all pleasure is relief. And it's like, yeah, like when you're just enjoying the mundane stuff, like that's usually not, at least for a lot of us, like the best moments, right? It's just the ecstasy in the mundane, the joy in the mundane, Yeah. I mean, people want to get in this, this wonderful, sweeping, epic romance. But once you have that honeymoon phase never lasts, guys. Then what do you want? You just want to wake up. Your best moments might be you're just next to each other in bed laughing or something, or some stupid joke you can laugh about, or that's all good. Jackie's actually folding the laundry now. All right. Question: what are your thoughts about some Christian notions like curses, negative energies, and entities that can negatively influence you? I personally believe all is mental and we are creating our reality, but they made me doubt it since I have been stagnant in life for a long time, and no LOA technique or no amount of me changing could change my reality. Yeah, I mean, there might be something to that stuff, but I don't pay no mind to it. Like you say there, Ruby. So I wouldn't be concerned about it. I would guess that why you feel stagnant in life for a long time has absolutely nothing to do with that. And it's more like the LOA techniques and stuff like that just aren't that good. And that there's a different way that might be more effective for you. Or I don't want to say like a more honest way. I'm going to quote, my favorite LOA teacher, Emile Coué. He says, if willpower and imagination are in conflict, imagination always wins. So quite often when we feel stagnant about changing our life, like it has not happened, it's because we know about something like manifestation principles. But even though we know the principles, we're actually, we're genuinely trying our best to apply them. Our imagination is saying this is not going to work. Our imagination inadvertently, subtly, emphasis on subtly, is working against us. Because when they're not aligned, willpower is not enough. Imagination is going to overtake it. So I think that's probably what's going on much more than any curse or negative energy. Feel free to reach out to me if you want, a further explanation about that. Oh, thank you, Stephanie, that you've been following my page and it's helped more than magical thinking. Yeah, exactly. Well, the irony is first of all, I'm not a manifestation teacher or coach, really. I just think these subjects are so cool. But the irony is what we're talking about here, including the self-concept stuff, including the relationship stuff, is really law of attraction, law of assumption, whatever you want to call it. It's just when we strip down the language, it's like psychological, energetic relationship stuff. And again, so much of it boils down to treating yourself better and treating other people better by treating yourself better, following the golden rule. So, yeah. All right. Anything else before we close out? This has been a great call. I hope everybody got something from it. It will go up on YouTube probably the next couple of days. And yeah, be sure to check out Sheena's channel if you haven't yet. Check out my new YouTube channel. Check out my old YouTube channel if you like the crazy manifestation stuff. But yeah, until next time, we're recording this Friday the 13th. Speaking of curses, fuck curses. Happy Valentine's Day tomorrow, the 14th. And yeah, if we treat ourselves better, give ourselves more space, in my experiences, that's a better manifestation exercise than most of the other ones I've heard. So keep that in mind if you want to experiment with that. All right. Until next time, everybody, be well. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining.